Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, so first and foremost, we want to start by giving all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
double honors to the apostles and elders who were well. Peace and salutations to all the Sisayakim enduring afflictions, making the calling election sure. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
It's your brother Kabar,
It's the Brother Yitazakah.
Brother Karad.
and we're back with another one, Lord willing, to be edifying to the elect. Yahweh Bashim Hashai, Bashim Kakadash, Barakadam. To all sincere listeners who may hear this. This one's going to be called Ministry Not Blamed. All right. Just a few words, all right, because we're approaching a time, you know, where we really want to tighten everything up, man. You know, we want to do everything in our power, you know, to get delivered out of here. You know, that's really the end goal, you know. And it's really speaking, all right, to the church, you know, ultimately so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, you know, the body of believing Israelites. Yeah, so.
Oh, you got it, brother.
God, do you get that Revelation 12?
God. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12,
And
verse 10.
is it 10? Yep, it's locked. Yep.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Mashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night.
Mm-hmm. So the accuser of our brother, man, you know, that's talking about Esau, man. You know who that's talking about, you know? And the brethren, hey, man, Esau, all right, he don't care, man. He don't care, you know, what particular camp, what kind of doctrine we be talking about, all right? Whatever group, you know, a group could teach that, you know, Edomites could get saved. You know, a group could teach about not having a name. You know, a group could teach about, you know, doing particular things. At the end of the day, we want to make sure the ministry be not blamed, because he's going to use any and everything. You know, he don't give a damn, like you brought up. Like I just mentioned, you know, particular, you know, not to mention any names, but, you know, particular camp could say the so-called white man could be saved. That don't matter. You still an enemy, man. He's still going to accuse you and make you seem to be like the worst thing out, man. You know, you got one camp that talks, like, beginning of every video, it's like a disclaimer. You know, we're not a hate group. Hey, man, that don't even matter, man. You don't care. You don't care about that, man. You know? But what we do want to make sure is that we're not putting the ministry at risk. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that we're seen in a particular light. You know? And regardless of that, we understand this Most High as well, but you have something, bro?
No, I ain't got nothing, brother. No, that's just it.
Okay. You can get that in 2 Corinthians 6.
Come on. It's Second Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 3. It says, giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed.
Giving no offense in anything, God, that the ministry be not blamed, you know. And this is Paul speaking, you know. Actually, you know, we could kind of start at the top.
It's 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 1. It says, we then as workers together with him beseech you also that ye receive not the grace of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua in vain. For he said, I have heard thee in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation have I succored thee. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation.
Mm-hmm. Now's the day of salvation, you know. After Yahushua, all right, who world calls Christ, he died, all right, for the nation of Israel. All right, now we got grace, man. We have hope, you know. We have the good news, you know, which is the gospel, you know, something that's being preached throughout the whole four winds of the earth, you know, before the day of the Lord. All right, ultimately that's how we get into the kingdom, you know. But this shouldn't be in vain, man. The type of grace that we have, we don't want it to be in vain, man. You know, we got brothers laboring, all right, making our bodies a living sacrifice. You know, we don't want to make this in vain, you know. If you, like brothers say, if you going to work, you might as well clock in, man. You know, we ain't doing this just for fun. You know, we should do it. We should take pleasure in it. You know, but we understand that, hey, man, this isn't a time to be out here just messing around, thinking about, you know, anything else besides salvation, man. You get verse 3.
It's like it says, giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed.
That's right. You get that word offense.
It's slow.
I got it on my phone.
Okay, kind, you got it with it.
Strong's G 4349. Proskape. Proskape.
It says an occasion of stumbling. It says to do something which causes others to stumble, leads them into error or sin. So we don't give any offense, man. You know, and me talking about the sheep, Most High, all right, since His only begotten Son, all right, who wore close Christ, Yahweh Shai, all right, and ultimately, all right, the whole thing, all right, what He told Peter, if you could get that, was that Matthew 16, or He said, feed my sheep. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
St. John 21.
You know, because Yahushua said to feed the sheep, man. You know, He said He came not but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know, so we're doing this for the lost sheep. You know, brothers understand that if we wake up the elect, ultimately, you know, that's part of the prophecy. Yeah, that's good. Yep.
Just St. John chapter 21. Oh, you got it correct.
Yeah.
It's like you got it.
This is St. John 21 and verse 14. It says, "This is now the third time that Yahweh Shai showed Himself to His disciples. After that, He was risen from the dead. So when He dined, Yahweh Shai saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord. Thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs."
Kana.
Verse 16, He said to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. Verse 17, He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because He saith unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And He said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua said unto him, Feed my sheep.
See, Yahushua, He told Peter, not once, not twice, but 3 times. All right, this is a commandment. All right, particular scriptures we could look at and use as a reference. This is a commandment that He told Peter, the rock of the church, to feed the sheep. If you could, while you're there, you get that word feed.
This is the word feed.
Strong's G 4165. Poimino.
Poimino. To feed, to tend a flock, keep sheep, to rule, govern, of rulers, to furnish pasture for food, to nourish, to cherish one's body, to serve the body, to supply the requisites for the soul's need.
See? What's the last one? You should read that part again.
The last example would be to supply the requisites for the soul's need.
Come on, man. So that's what Yahushua commanded Peter 3 times, you know, to do that to the sheep, man. We understand. All right, we're also sheep, man. You know, talking to the brotherhood, man. You know, we're also sheep. You know, at one point, you know, we were lost, and now we're found, so to speak. You know, we were called, but will we be chosen? You know, but you know the things that we receive, we gotta, amen. We gotta continue to nourish and feed. All right, the sheep, man. You know, do things that can ultimately get the sheep in the fold. You know, you got whatever. I got 1 Timothy 5:17.
Oh, I have Philippians.
You want to get it if you want.
God. This is Philippians. This is Philippians 2, and I guess I'll start at verse 3. It says, "Let nothing be done through strife or vain glory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than themselves."
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Yahushua was the greatest example. You know, he washed, all right, his disciples' feet. You know, he basically ministered, all right, to the disciples, man, and that includes Judas. You know, ultimately, that's basically the example that we need to do. You know, with particular people. You know, anybody we can think of, esteem them higher than ourselves. Be at service to them, man. You know, be the bigger man, as they say in the world. You know, if someone is being childish or whatever, hey man, you want to be that example. You know, like Yahushua said, turn the other cheek. You know, I was watching was it the 13th Amendment? You know, the documentary on Netflix, and it was like where a so-called black man, he was just getting shoved and pushed by so-called white people, and he was just continuing to walk on. Like, he had class, you know what I'm saying? He didn't, you know, lower himself down to their level, you know? And ultimately, I believe, I forgot what video I was watching, but it's like someone else sees that, you know what I'm saying? So it could be a sheep that sees that, and they could be edified, like, okay, so that's who the Israelites are, you know? They're like a higher class of people, you know what I'm saying? We have moral values, and that's what the scriptures embody, right? Even in the world, you know, so-called Christians believe that, you know, but we have the true understanding, you know, so it shouldn't take away, all right, from the moral uprightness, all right, the true moral uprightness, you know. It's lucky if I'm right.
No, you good, brother. Verse 4, it says, "Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahushua HaMashiach."
Read one time.
Okay. Verse 4, "Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others."
Mm-hmm. Right. And that was Paul, you know, that was speaking to the church in Philippi, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ultimately, that's something that we need to embody, man. We need to understand it's not just about us, man. It's not just about our, you know, little circle. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about our vessel, this flesh. You know what I'm saying? It's a bigger picture, especially if you make up the body of Mashiach. You know, 1 Corinthians 12 talks about that body of Mashiach. You know, it's many members, man. You know, so we can't consider just ourselves, man. We got to consider all different avenues and angles, man. You know, when it comes to this ministry.
God, that was it.
That was it. You got it, bro.
I'll get this. What matter of fact, let me just go there. What was that word you had pulled again? Offense? Was that the one that we pulled?
Pull
The first
offense,
time? Can you grab that one more time for me, y'all? Oh, for sure.
You got it. Yeah.
You just get it one more time for me. Oh, for sure.
Strong's G 4349. Proskape.
The word offense, it says, an occasion of stumbling, to do something which causes others to stumble, leads them into error or sin.
Leads them into error and sin. So that's what an offense is. You know what I'm saying? Then it says, giving no offense that the ministry be not blamed. So, you know, offense is something that leads someone into error or sin. You know what I'm saying? Or someone that, you know, a stumbling block. You know, I got this right here. This is James chapter 5, verse 20. It says, "Let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins." So that's what it's all about, you know, leading away from offenses. Why? Because that's how you save souls from death, you know, and that's how you hide a multitude of sins. You know, that's what it's all about, not causing offense, you know, or leading others to be offended, you know, leading others into error and sin, doing things, you know, that are wrong, or doing things that, you know, or thinking something that they shouldn't be thinking, and then causing them not to give forth the effort that's needed for them to, receive salvation. So it says, let him know, he that does that, who doesn't cause offenses, will save souls from death, and also be able to hide a multitude of sins. You got one, brother?
You had no Romans 14.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a quick one though.
Okay.
One more quick one, because the brother Gabar brought out 2 John 21, 21 and 15 through 17, I believe, and he brought out that word feed, which there was a commandment by our Lord Yahweh Shai, through Peter, Apostle Peter, which is also the rock of the church, the leading example of the body of Mashiach. He told him, to supply the soul's requirements. So every soul has different requirements for what's needed for them to, properly understand and be led forward in the spirit, of Yahweh Bashim al-Shah. Some can easily be offended. Some souls are weak and they need, they need to be catered to more than others. This 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2, it says, feed the flock of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. Got it, correct.
One more time, I was shocked.
It's 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2. It says, feed the flock of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock.
That's right, man. You're supposed to be an example to the flock. You're not supposed to take, do it because of bitter constraints or because you're accepting cash. You're supposed to do it and be an example, be a good example, to the flock. There's a lot of people there out here being bad examples, man. To the flock of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. The Most High expects us to conduct ourselves a certain way. He wants us to conduct ourselves a certain way so that, one of the examples that Lord Yahweh Shai gave was, he was like, let your light shine before men so that the Most High can get the glory. You know what I'm saying? So you're supposed to let your light shine, let your good works shine, show, let your conduct be a conduct that's pleasing, in that way, just by default, the ministry won't be blamed. The ministry will be put in a good light, and the Most High will get the glory.
Holding this in 1 Timothy 4 and 16, it says, take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine, continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. So ultimately, we understand that this is a straight and narrow path, it's a position of difficulty. It's going to be a small remnant that's going to be going in and really making it through. So it'll be a beautiful thing, if you can do particular things to save particular people. It's like really winning a lottery, man. It's like it's a small number. So we want to make sure the ministry is not blamed, so that way you could be one of the small few remnant special spirits to guide those other special spirits. If that makes sense.
I had a quick one. This is 1 Corinthians 9. This is the book of 1 Corinthians in Slack, but 1 Corinthians 9.
I got that. I'm not sure you started. I got it. But I'm gonna just give you one I got. You get 1 Corinthians 9 and 22 for me. You got something else, brother?
I'm over it. 1
Uh,
Corinthians chapter 9.
I'm not sure where he was gonna go with it, but I had this as well. But this is just where I was gonna go with
22.
it. Yeah, kind.
1 Corinthians 9 and 22, it says, to the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some.
Yeah, so that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? You gotta become weak unto the weak. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not on the level where they can just be able to decipher and understand, like, okay, oh, this is how it goes down. This is how Yahweh Shemel Shah set it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got things hid amongst things that's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Things that's supposed to be or not. You know what I'm saying? It's not, fully understandable. There's an exquisite subtlety. You know what I'm saying? A exquisite subtlety goes into a perfected or eloquent guile and craft. You know what I'm saying? So everyone can't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Some people just, they just see things for, they're enamored by, the beauty of how, brothers speak. You know what I'm saying? The organization and the assembly of brethren. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, okay, this is perfection. But they don't understand even within perfection there's flaws. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? And become weak unto the weak. Everyone can't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And, as feeding the flock, we have to understand how to give, the requirements for different souls.
That was on that.
Yeah, I don't know what route to go with.
Oh God, I wanted to grab that. 1 Corinthians 9. Unless you have some
Yeah, what verse you
it was verse 11.
11 through what you want?
I can read it for you.
11 down to possibly maybe 13.
Jumping up, 1 Corinthians 9 and verse 11, it says, if we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? Verse 12, if others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Verse 12, it says, if others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Nevertheless, we have not used this power, but suffer all things, lest we should hinder the gospel of Hamashiach.
So basically what Apostle Paul was saying right here was that I've sown into you spiritual things, which means, by default, I'm able to reap, finances from you. I'm able to reap, different things that you can offer a man of the Lord. I should be able to reap these things because you can't muzzle the ox that treadeth the corn. But he was basically saying, although I can exercise this right over you, or although I'm justified in doing a certain thing, I won't do it because I don't want to hinder the gospel of Hamashiach. So he had that mindset. Like, although I can exercise a certain power, although I can do this, or although I have the power to do a certain thing, I'll restrain myself and I won't do it because by doing so, it'll put the gospel in the forefront and it'll make me. It'll take away. I'll put myself in the back burner, and then I'll put the gospel in the forefront, and then it won't be said that, hey, he's just trying to get money, or hey, he's just preaching so that he can reap some type of reward. You know what I mean? So basically, he basically took low so that the gospel will be put on a pedestal, put high. You know what I mean?
Verse 13.
Okay.
It says, verse 13, do ye not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things of the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar?
You minister, you do certain things, you're supposed to be a partaker of it. But, like I said, he was willing to not, reap these things. And that's how we should be. We should be able to take low. And that goes into, just because you have a certain wisdom or just because you have a certain liberty, you still restrain yourself. You restrain yourself because by doing so, you're keeping in mind that, hey, the gospel, this is a greater thing that's at stake. I could do a certain thing and jeopardize, the way the gospel is being perceived by others that are weaker than me, that are not as far along as I am.
I got a precept to back that up. You had something, bro?
Yeah.
This is 1 Corinthians 10 and 23. Correct. Break it down.
Copy.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 23. It says, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
Yeah, so so certain things that you do may be lawful. You may do something and it may very well be lawful for you to do. But just because it's lawful for you to do, that doesn't mean that it's expedient, man. It may not be expedient. That's why you're supposed to do all things with discretion. All things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. You're supposed to, have your wisdom under control. Your wisdom is supposed to be something that's under control, and you're supposed to use it. You're supposed to use your wisdom. Not just using it just because I know something and I'm enlightened in this area. Even though you may be very well enlightened in something, you can speak something out of season. You can do something that can jeopardize, that can put the ministry in a poor light.
Yep. And just to add, I mean, you got certain Israelites, who do music, make rap music or whatever, and it's like, this is an example. Not all things are just expedient, or necessary, man. Just like you're saying, you could get in the booth and say something, and you might not even necessarily. You gotta correct yourself. How you gonna do that? The song's already out now. You know what I'm saying? Certain Jake's got certain songs that it sounds kind of controversial. Esau could use, particular rap lyrics and be like, you see this? You know what I'm saying? Now you put the ministry at blame. You got Jake's, out there with the Draco. I mean, come on, man. We understand the time that we're in. We have to really be more mindful of particular things, man.
Yep.
Verse 24 says, let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth.
God, so you're supposed to think about another person, man. That's part of this gospel, man. You're thinking about others. You're not just out here being selfish. You're not just out here just because you know some shit. You're just out here speaking on every damn thing. Some stuff. Sometimes you just gotta refrain from doing stuff, even when you're right. Even when you're right, and you got all the ammo. To speak on it. Sometimes it's more expedient to just hold your peace. You know what I'm saying? Than to go into that type of stuff, because you can speak something out of season, or you can speak something and then it can push people away. But then if you hold your peace and wait to a specific moment, or if you hold your peace, or it's all in the way you say a thing. Or you may say a thing a different way, and it can touch a person instead of the way that you were intended, the way that you were going to say it.
Yep, that goes back into giving no offense. You say a particular thing, and someone can take it a certain way. Like Paul, he said a few things where it's like, nah, man, I'm not telling you the law's done away with. You know what I'm saying? He's saying, that's just one example. He's saying particular things, but we gotta understand, like, hey, man, this is a time where it's like, hey, anything and everything. The scriptures say, by thy words thou shalt be justified, by the words thou shalt be condemned. So you want to be treading lightly with particular things, man.
That's right.
I got a quick one too, if I may. This is Rock chapter 20, verse 20. It says, a wise sentence shall be rejected when it cometh out of a fool's mouth, for he will not speak it in due season.
God, you won't speak it in due season, man. And you see the scriptures are saying that it's actually wise. What the man wanted to say is actually wise. It's actually powerful. It's actually something that holds a lot of weight. But he speaks it out of season, and then nobody wants to hear the shit, man. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody's regarding it because he didn't speak it at the proper time. That's because wisdom is actually wisdom that has to be under control, man. It has to be under control. It has to be used methodically, and it has to be used. You have to think it through, man. You can't just spew stuff. You can't just say anything at any time, man, because the Most High is not dealing with nothing like that. You know, Lord Yahweh Shai held his peace. Even though he had something to say, man. He had powerful things that he wanted to speak on, but he held his peace in certain instances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got one. It's a perfect one. Just made up what he just said, but you got it, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
This is Philippians 1, and I'm going to start at verse 15. I'll just start here. It says, Philippians 1:15, it says, some indeed preach Hamashiach, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. The one preach Hamashiach of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds, but the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. I'll finish here in 18. What then, notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Hamashiach is preached, and I therein do rejoice, and will rejoice.
Yeah, so you need to be thinking about why are you doing this, man? Are you bringing this out to be contentious, or are you bringing this out, what I'm saying, because you're trying to be right? What's the point of bringing a certain thing out? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jake want to be in the spirit of, I told you so. Oh yeah, I was right, you're wrong. Hey man, we be talking about the body of Mashiach. We're talking about, all right, being delivered out of here, being those elect spirits. Who's going to be right is going to be right. You know what I'm saying? In the kingdom, right now, it's about making sure that we're sincere in what we're doing, man. Making sure that we're doing this thing the correct way, doing this thing in an organized, manner, according to the scriptures, not organized like these
Organized crime.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we ain't talking about that, but scriptures say do things decently and in order, man.
Kind, brother. Just to add one more point to what you were saying too, the key thing about it, it's not about none of us. It's about Yahweh Shema Shah first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about us being right. It's about Yahweh Shema Shah being right. And then also, it's not about us in a sense, because we're supposed to be thinking about others, man. We're supposed to be thinking about ourselves. We're supposed to be thinking about others, man. How are they affected by the actions that we're taking? How are they affected by the words that we're saying? How is outsiders who, Gentiles who are carried away to dumb idols, how are they perceiving this? You know what I'm saying? Is this message coming to where someone can receive it who, may have not heard it? You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be thinking about others and Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. That's really the only things that matter, At the end of the day, don't nothing else matter about us being right or, it's not about us, man. It's not about us. It's about Yahweh Shema Shai and the sheep, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep. Old boy in the world, he knows, I'm an Israelite, and he said his whole, impression of it is there's a whole bunch of quote unquote, jail niggas. You get locked up and they turn into an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? And he's seen something about, particular Israelites going back and forth, they got beefs, it's a gang.
Right.
That's basically that's his take on it because of things that he's seen.
Right.
Wow.
And that's, come on, man. That's. You said what?
I was just saying, who could fault them? Because certain brothers, they do things out of season.
Yeah. God.
It's like,
But it says, just to finish that point, it says in 18, because it says, what then, notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Hamashiach is preached, and I therein do rejoice, and will rejoice. So it's ultimately something to rejoice in that Israelites are waking up to this thing, man. We know how close we are to getting delivered out of here, So, that's something to rejoice in regardless of anything, we're not going to be perfect on this side. We're still under his curses. There's still going to be evil eye towards our brother and our neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, is it Isaiah or Ezekiel talks about being on the same, seen eye to eye. We're not going to be seen we're not gonna be looking at our brothers seeing eye to eye, man. We don't not under the new covenant, you know. So we gotta be long suffering with our neighbors, with our brothers, you know, and understand like, hey, man, we're in this thing together, man. Regardless, you know, if we don't see totally eye to eye, you know, Esau, all right, he don't care about none of that, you know what I'm saying, stuff that's in house, because it's really in house, man, you know.
Hey, so like it's a cordial way to not agree with someone. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't agree with someone, or just because you know you necessarily can't be in unison with someone, it's a respectable and classy way to go about that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to you know, go into name bashing, name calling. You know what I'm saying? Or picking out everything that they're doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, it's things that you don't agree on, it's things that you can't unify on, but it's also, you could be classy within that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to take that liberty to be like, oh, okay, you're off and this is off and everything that you're doing off and you're demons and, you know what I'm saying? Just like, that's not necessary, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really not, man. You know what I'm saying? The only thing we're supposed to be focused on is pleasing Yahweh Shem Al His sheep, man. So outside of that, what are we talking about here, man? You know? That's wasted energy, man. You know? That's not what Yahweh Shem Al is giving us his spirit for, man. You know? He's giving forth his spirit for us to preach the gospel. You know, bring forth good tidings, man. You know, preach repentance. You know, the ministry of reconciliation. You know, reconciliation. You know? You brothers got something?
I'll hold it.
Okay, I had one to back up. You got something, Karak?
No,
I got one to back up what you had said about Yahweh Shai, because the brother Karak made a good point about how Yahweh Shai, at times, he could have spoke and said things that was to people that was necessarily off, or he was in the right about certain things and he could have brought it out, but he kept his mouth shut about it. You know what I'm saying? This is a perfect example right here. This I just started 57. This Matthew chapter 26, verse 57. It says, and they that had laid hold on Yahushua led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. And this speaking on when Yahushua was being arrested, you know, getting ready to be brought forth unto the council, you know, for crucifixion, you know. And it says, but Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death, but found none. Yet, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of Yahweh Shem Al and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witnesses, Salakia, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? But Yahushua held his peace. And the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living power that thou tell us whether thou be the Mashiach, the son of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know, so and Salaki, let's read read 64 as well. It says, verse 64, it says, Yahushua said unto him, thou hast said, nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. You know what I'm saying? So during some of this period, when they was asking Yahushua certain questions, he wasn't answering it, man. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was justified to answer it, this was actually the Son of the living power, but he didn't just, although he was the Son of the living power and he knew that, he still held his peace even when he was in the right to be able to speak, man. And even when they spoke to him, he kept it short. He let his speech be short, like the scriptures say. You know what I'm saying? And he said, this is what you said. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't had nothing to say. He ain't really had no defense. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how sheep are. Sheep don't have defense mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? They're just pretty much open for attack. And the scriptures tell you we are killed all the day long. We're sheep accounted to the slaughter, man. We're set up to take a beating, man. You know, that's what it's about. We're set up to be buffeted. You know, like it said in Isaiah the 53rd chapter, that it pleased the Heavenly Father Yahweh to bruise Yahweh Shai, you know. And that's what we have to understand. That's what others have to understand too about this ministry. You got to take a beating. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand it. This was coming into this thing is about taking the low, you know, treating those good who treat you bad. You know what I'm saying? Getting beat up and not beating back. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about, man. You know. But you know, a lot of people can't get past that fact. And that's those who have not truly been reborn in the Mashiach Yahushua. You know. Because they haven't laid aside all malice, you know.
Con, brother. Because when you remain silent, you know it you know nobody can trip you up on your words. You know nobody can say, hey, he said this and that. You know when you hold your peace, you know it's less opportunity for you to be for somebody to say something wrong about what you've said. You know what I mean? When you scarcely speak.
That's why scriptures tell you, let your words be few. And that's operating within wisdom, you know.
I got one. This is 1 Peter 4:11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And if any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai giveth, that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai in all things may be glorified through Hamashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
And that link up with what Kuraf was saying earlier, man. That's what it's all about. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai receiving the glorification, man. You know, that's what it all go back to, man. You know, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai receiving his glorification. The ministry of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai looking good. Us representing his business well, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not about nothing else, man. That's what it's about at the end of the day, man. You know, us living and speaking according to the oracles of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So what? So that he can be glorified. You know, that he can be magnified, and that his ministry can be presented without spot and blameless. You know, and his ministers are going to be presented without spot and blameless. You know.
Quick one.
Come on, brother.
This is 1 Peter 2:15. It says, For so is the will of the Most High, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men.
Yeah, that's the will of Yahweh Yahushua. With well-doing, you put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. You know, not by, you know, calling them out, pointing them out. You know what I'm saying? Not by, you know, proving what they're wrong about. You know what I'm saying? Not by, so to speak, being set for the defense of the gospel. The way you defend the gospel is by living the gospel, man. The kingdom of heaven is within you, man. You know what I'm saying? So you're supposed to be a living representative of Yahweh Shemashah. Now, of course, we have to defend the stances within the scriptures. But that's it, man. You know, what the scripture says, what it say, and that's it, man. You know, all that other stuff is just, you know, pretty much irrelevant, man. You know, at the end of the day, you could probably justify it and say why you could do it, but at the end of the day, like, what is that really doing, though? You know, what is that really doing? Don't none of us know who gonna be saved. None of us know if we gonna make it up out of here. We don't know who gonna make it up out of here, man. You know, it's bigger fish to fry, man. It's bigger fish to fry. You know, you put the silence talk by being an example. You know, that's why Yahweh Shemashah, he don't do no talking. Ain't like Yahweh Shemashah talking from the sky, but he let his actions speak for themselves. You know, and we're supposed to represent him. You know.
Oh, it was a little more in there.
Kind of.
It says, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of the Most High.
Yeah, so we're free. You know, we have liberty. You know what I'm saying? But like I tell you in Galatians, the 5th chapter, we're supposed to take that liberty to serve one another and love one another, man. And that goes for even those whom, you know, you might seem as off, man. Because our Lord Yahweh Shah told us to do good unto those who don't do us good, man. You know, those who use us despitefully, we're supposed to pray for them, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're supposed to use our liberty to do and our freedom to do, is to exercise hope and love unto others, man. And peace unto others, man. That's what we're given liberty to do. And like the brother Kabar was making mention to earlier, that's what makes this ministry be presented as beautiful and delicate. That's what makes this ministry look good. When people be like, oh, these young men are conducting themselves with beautiful behavior. You know what I'm saying? They have good speech. They're treating each other properly. Like even if they have quarrels with each other, they're forgiving one another. They're putting it to the side. For the greater good. That's what makes this ministry perfected.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is more on that, brother?
That was it on that.
Kind. Oh, you read 17 as well, Baba Kasha? And 18, Baba Kasha?
I knew it was a little more.
Yeah, I was gonna say go to 18, but
I think your brothers had something.
kind.
God, this is verse 17. It says, honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear Yahweh, honor king.
So I tell you right there, honor all men and love the brotherhood, man. Honor all men. You know what I'm saying? Like especially like what the brother Kabar brought out earlier, Philippians the 1st chapter, about even those who teach with preeminence and strife. You know what I'm saying? You're even supposed to honor these men, because guess what? There's still vessels being used by Yahweh Shemashah to usher in our deliverance out of here, man. Even if it's on the left hand or the right hand side, who's to say? But Yahweh Shemashah has made all things for his will, man. And for his purposes, man. And ultimately, a part of Yahweh Shemashah's purpose is for us to be delivered out of here, man. So, at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, everything is needed. Everyone is needed, man.
Yahushua, he said, beware of false prophets. So we understand there's going to be false prophets walking around, But Yahushua, just to kind of make a side note, he washed Judas' foot, like I've already brought out. He ministered unto Judas, So, that goes to show you, and Yahushua knew exactly who Judas was, man. So people, we understand there's false prophets around, but at the end of the day, they're doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Whether it's on the left hand or the right hand, they're needed. They actually, it's something to rejoice in. This is prophecy, We're going to beware of them. We're going to take note and take heed. We're going to mark them. We're going to take note. It's just really paying attention to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
But yeah, that was it.
Just one more.
Verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 18. 1 Peter 2 and 18. It says, servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward.
Not only to the good and gentle, but also to the forward. You know what I'm saying? And you were saying, servants, be subject to your masters without fear, which we know, back in ancient time, you had certain Hebrews who, were servants. You know what I'm saying? That's different masters. You know what I'm saying? But even in now, you can apply this unto other men, because we're supposed to esteem others higher than ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to esteem others higher than ourselves. We're supposed to think of others more highly than us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it said that, not only to the good and the gentle, but also to the forward, man.
Mm-hmm.
So just be subject unto others, man. Let them have the win, man. Even if you know they wrong, man. Let them be right, man. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shemashah, he'll fix it, man. At the end of the day, Yahweh Shemashah gonna have mercy on whom he want to have mercy, and compassion on whom he want to have compassion. Only thing we can do is just preach the gospel in this proper doctrine. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, we're accepted.
It was a little bit more.
That chapter is banging.
I kind of want to jump down to verse 20, read down. This is 1 Peter 2 and 20. It says, for what glory is it if, when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with Yahweh.
Mm-hmm. You read 21 as well? Or 22 too?
Yeah, I know. Verse 21, for even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps,
Oh, keep reading out, Baba Kashab.
who did not sin, neither was God found in his mouth, who when he was reviled, he reviled not. Again, when he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point of it.
Goodness.
You know what I'm saying? That's what Yahweh Shai, Mashiach left for us. You know what I'm saying? In this ministry. You know what I'm saying? Is that we should, ultimately commit ourselves to him that judges righteously, man. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shai is the judge, man. And he's going to take care of things, man. You know what I'm saying? You do your part by, just taking it, man. Take a beating, man. You know what I'm saying? Take a beating, and that's what Yahweh Shai wanted us to understand. That's what the Heavenly Father Yahweh wanted us to understand, man. Even though he was justified and right and been wiping us out a long time ago, man. You know what I'm saying? He held his peace and he still he took a beating. He got disrespected, got his hand slapped the way people spit it in the Heavenly Father's face. People literally spitting our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach's face. And that's what this ministry is about, man. Taking a beating, man. And getting others to understand this is what it's about. This is how we are healed, This is how we are healed, man. Through the furnace of adversity. This is how man is brought to his praise,
Come, brother. It said that he did this as an example, verse 21. He did this to leave us an example, which means like, you see me do this as well. Like, what are you out here for? Salaki, I just want to read it one more time, verse 21. 1 Peter 2 and 21, if you don't mind.
You got it.
Okay. This is 1 Peter 2 and 21. It says, for even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. So, we're supposed to follow his steps, man. And do exactly what he did. Just want to make that point.
That's right.
You got it, bro.
Come.
Okay, yeah, I just said this. Just get my phone down.
Okay.
Whatever you got.
You say get what I got first? You get what's it, 1 Timothy 5:17?
Okay.
Let me see.
Bring it up.
Kind, yeah.
Okay, this is 1 Timothy 5 and 17. It says, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine.
I wanted to get that word well in the blue letter. I could get it if you ain't in there. Did you get it?
Okay.
Because you brought out, to honor all men. Right here it says to let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and in doctrine. And we brought out, we live this doctrine, we live this gospel. This is something that there's no breaks when it comes to that, And that's something that's worthy, of double honor.
Well, right?
Come.
I'm gonna just say the word to the best of my ability. It's G2573, and that's Kolos, and it says beautifully, finely, excellently, well, rightly, so that there should be no room for blame.
No room for blame, man. No room for blame. So Lord willing, we those men, anyone who has the ears to hear, Olaakim, we want to strive, to be in that position, to be in that category, We don't want to have any room for blame. You don't want anybody, he said this, Hey, man, at the end of the day, this is basically something that's worthy of not honor, but double honor, man. This is something that, through the Spirit, that Paul, he was preaching that, man. That was a point if you wanted to
That was yeah, that's like
That was fire.
Those all you had on that, brother? Or you want to read it one more time?
We read again.
Okay, Kyle. break down for one more time, correct?
The definition.
The precept.
Okay. This is 1 Timothy 5:17. It says, "Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine."
Because that's a high level thing, man. You know, to be labor in the word and the doctrine, man. You know, that's something. I mean, to truly rule well, as it says, no room for blame. You know, that way. I mean, scriptures talk about was Proverbs 29:2. You know, when the righteous are in authority, man. You know, people rejoice, man. That's something to be rejoicing, man. Like we got some great leaders, man.
Kind, brother.
You know.
Kind, brother.
You know, and we were rehearsing the righteous acts. You know, so Lord will lead those men. You know, in the kingdom, those same righteous men who are kind of worthy of double honor on this side. Hey, man. You know, it's going to be a whole kingdom. You know, starting from those great men.
Yeah, Sirach 10 also tell you, a wise judge instructive his people, man. You know what I'm saying? As the manner of the as the manner of the leader of the city, just roughly paraphrasing, so is the manner of the people. You know, so how you're conducting yourself is how the little ones below you, you know, conduct themselves. You know. I got a couple more. Y'all brothers got more? I just got like 2 or 3 more. Matthew 18:6. That's a perfect segue.
We got it.
Go ahead and grab it. Oh, unless you got it, man.
You got it. Yeah.
Matthew 18 and verse 6. It says, "But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea."
Yeah, so that's why going back to what Kabar was saying about the elders whom rule well, you know what I'm saying, those apostles, those men, those ancient men, of Yahweh Shem HaShah who rule well, you know what I'm saying. These are the ones who are going to be the judges, you know what I'm saying, in the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be the everlasting, examples of judgment and righteousness. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna leave their mark upon other people as well. You know what I'm saying? Like we quoted in I quoted in Sirach 10 about how as the leader is, so is the people. You know what I'm saying? However you're acting is how the little ones is gonna act. You know what I'm saying? So if you're acting in a certain type of manner, or if you're doing things in a certain type of way, the younger ones, the little ones are going to think it's okay. You know what I'm saying? That could be bringing forth a stumbling block. They could be leading someone into error or to sin. You know what I'm saying? And if you do those type of things, with someone that believes in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, Yahweh Shah says it's better for you to hang a millstone around your neck. So you pretty much asking for it, at that point,
That's heavy.
So that's why you want to tread real lightly. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you're talking about offending one of the little ones, like we brought out, offense or offend, it's enticing someone to sin, entice a little one to sin who believes in the Mashiach, I mean, he could get mercy, he could get mercy because, he was sincere and he thought what he was doing, was correct or whatever, but you offended that, you enticed him to do that. Scriptures go into it. It's better you hang yourself, man.
Yeah, bro. Then we got Romans 14 and 13.
This is the book of Romans 14, verse 13. It says, "Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way."
Yeah, that's what you should judge. You know what I'm saying? Brothers want to bring forth, judge this, judge that, or, this right, this wrong. No, this what you better be judging. Make sure you're not putting a stumbling block before your brethren. That's the thing. You want to judge something, judge that. Judge that, man. You know what I'm saying? If you want to judge something so bad, that's what you need to be judging. And 1 Corinthians 8 and 9 through 13, I think it's up to right there.
I got it.
Kind of.
1 Corinthians 8, verse 9, it says, "But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak."
Yes, it says, take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak. You know what I'm saying? Like we brought out in 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter, about how this liberty is not to be used as a cloak of maliciousness. So we got to be, basically we got to be careful in what we do with this liberty. So just because we have the freedom to do certain things, that doesn't necessarily mean it's okay, man. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't necessarily mean it's okay. Like just like same thing, Yahabashim Ashad. That's why he don't want us just out here, condemning people to death or cursing people out, even if, what I'm saying, they living in complete wickedness, man. That's not how Yahabashim Ashad want to be represented, even though we could be like, oh, that is off. You are going off. You are a wicked man. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what we was given liberty to do. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we was given liberty for. We was given this liberty to ultimately be examples of how you're supposed to walk as a servant of Yahabashim Ashad, man. You know? Like, so this, you read that last precept one more time, Baba Kashab?
1 Corinthians 8:9. But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
Yeah, so you gotta take heed unless this liberty that you have, becomes a stumbling block to them that are weak, and they fall into that. And then they start doing the things that you're doing, or they start thinking that, oh, it's all about a certain type of thing, and then they get fixated on that, and then they lose sight on what really matters, and that's thinking about others, man. Feeding others. You know what I'm saying? Right. Converting others from sin. You know what I'm saying? Reconciliation. They lose sight on that, and they get fixated.
Yep. It says, verse 10, it says, for if any man see thee which has knowledge sit at meat with the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols?
Mm-hmm.
And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish for whom Hamashiach died.
Mm-hmm.
But when ye sin so against the brethren and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Hamashiach.
Right, kind. So if you trespass against a brother, you know what I'm saying, and it caused them to trespass, you trespassed against your house, Mashiach, man. It ain't about like, okay, you didn't necessarily do a transgression, but you know what I'm saying, what you did to someone else is what you did to your house, Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? So that is a transgression. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be real mindful of it, because you don't know how people are responding to things. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how somebody's taking something in. You know what I'm saying? You don't know all that. That's why you got to be careful, man. Like, you don't know. It's a lot of sheep out here. It's a lot of spirits out here, man. It's not all about you. You got it, brother.
Con, brother, I was just gonna say, like, our people, man, they they're they can be kind of childish sometimes, man, and they can be kind of easily led.
Simple.
Yeah, it's simple, yeah, and they can be easily led, man. You can do something, and then our people be like, they'll follow after that stuff, man. Our people will follow after that.
Mm-hmm. They're really impressionable.
Yeah, kind of, that's the word I was looking for. Kind of, they're very impressionable. So you do something, and then they'll end up acting on it, man, and then you'll be at fault.
See, I was gonna say too, a point on that is like a lot of times you might see videos where certain people who might not, be in the faith or like be in the truth, they'll just like be out and they'll spaz out. Like you had a so-called black woman on the train one time, and she was going in on Esau like, Jacob, we the real descendants. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's not expedient. You know what I'm saying? But she seeing brothers spaz out on Esau. You know what I'm saying? Calling Esau the devil. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Fucking slapping Esau. You know what I'm saying? Like those subbies. You know what I'm saying? But like people see that type stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then they be like, oh, I'm finna go out here and smash on the Edomite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is the new thing to do.
God, bro. Mm-hmm. But not even knowing that you could be causing them to sin, because that might not even be an Edomite that they going to smash on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about all angles, man. You know what I'm saying? Then the ministry can be blamed because people look, oh, them Israelites, they just guys who like chump the devil off. You know what I'm saying? Just go in on the so-called white man. You know what I'm saying? They want retribution for slavery. That's all they about. Like, bro, it's more to this than that, man. It's about the glorification of Yahweh Shema. That's really what it's about. This ain't about you putting no Edomite in chains, man. This about Yahweh Shema being glorified, man. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And people miss the whole point on that when you know what I'm saying, when you do too much, man. Right. You know? It was one more verse on that.
It says verse 13, Romans, it's like 1 Corinthians 8 and 13, it says, wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend.
Yeah, so Apostle Paul, like, look, man, if certain thing a brother gonna get offended by, then I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Just so I don't bring offense to my brother. Why? Because if you bring offense to one of these little ones that believe in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, it's better for you to hang a millstone around your neck and drown yourself in the depths of the sea. So you better be careful how you moving. You better be careful how you moving. You know, you could be you could be overzealous, man. You know, you could be too intense, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the precept, force him to the line.
Okay, Con.
And just to add, you know, we're not saying we out here men pleasing. We're out here to please everybody, man. We know that there's some people who's just not gonna get it. Some people it's just not for them. You know, we could say certain things. Like I think I remember a while back because that camp crowd was edifying. There was a few people around, and he said something. I think it was something along the lines of free will. You know, and she heard it. She probably didn't like it, and you know, she walked off. Hey, it is what it is, man. You know, but at the same time, you want to keep in mind the overall picture. You know, you don't want to be out here offending one of the little ones. You know, that's really it.
That's the whole. You should be thinking about that more than about who ain't supposed to get it and who do supposed to get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You worry about the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
It said if you want to judge something, judge that you don't put a stumbling block before somebody, man. That's what you're supposed to be paying attention to, man. You know, you worry about who not supposed to get it and who do supposed to get it, man.
It's almost like Jake almost do things to offend people, knowing that like, all right, people are just not going to get it, so I'm just going to go ahead and,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and
Lay it out on the line.
All right, let's do yourself a favor. Let's cut to the chase.
That's fucking wild, man. That's inexcusable, man, and that's childish as well, man. You know, you're not putting no thought into nothing, man. You just like, I'm gonna just do it just because I can. That's not what you was given liberty to do, man. I'm gonna just do it just because I know that shit. The vast majority of these people, they not gonna get it anyway. So I'm gonna just act like this because I mean, shit, ain't like a lot of y'all fucking with it anyway. That's not excusable, man. And that's childish, man. That's ridiculous, man. You know?
Yep. You got something?
Kind of that Ecclesiastes 31.
You got?
Con, this is Ecclesiasticus 31, and
You want me to get it for you?
yeah, 31. So yeah,
Con. Sorry, 31. We can start.
probably we can get straight to the point.
At the bottom.
Yeah, right at the bottom.
This is Sirach 31 and verse 31. It says, rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine, and despise him not in his mirth. Give him no despiteful words, and press not upon him with urging him to drink.
Con, you know, you're not supposed to urge them. You know, you're not supposed to force yourself upon people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother was going into, you know, just let your actions speak, man. Let your actions speak, and then do what you're required. You know, let your actions speak, do what you're required, and then everything else will fall. The chips will fall where they fall, man. You know, you don't have to press and force because the Most High he'll do all the rest, all the heavy lifting, man.
Yep, he gives an increase.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Beautiful point. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got something?
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
You could get that back in, might as well finish back off in 2 Corinthians 6 and 3, and just kind of read down, you know?
Yeah, kind.
You said 2 Corinthians.
Kind of 2 Corinthians 6.
2 Corinthians 6 and
Yeah, we're going to start at 3 and kind of read down.
This is 2 Corinthians 6 and verse 3. It says, give no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. It says, but in all things approving ourselves as the ministers of Yahweh, in much patience, in afflictions, in necessities, and distresses, in stripes, in imprisonments, in tumults, in labors, in watchings, and fastings, by pureness, by knowledge, by long suffering, by kindness, by the Holy Ghost, by love unfeigned, by the word of truth, by the power of the Most High, by the armor of righteousness on the right hand and on the left, by honor and dishonor, by evil report and good report, as deceivers and yet true.
Salakia, yeah, we could jump. I guess we could read down to 10.
Come. Verse 9, it says, as unknown and yet well known, as dying, and behold, we live as chastened and not killed, as sorrowful, yet always rejoicing, as poor, yet making many rich, as having nothing and yet possessing all things.
So all that, that goes back into verse 4, where it says, but in all things, approving ourselves as the ministers of Yahweh Shem Hashah. In all things, man. So nothing's off the table. It goes into it. And imprisonments, torments, fastings, pureness. It says on the right hand and on the left. Honor and dishonor, evil report and good report. We know it's going to be evil report, in the time that we're approaching. But in all things, it says, approving ourselves, man, making sure that we're living up to that standard. Ministry is not blamed, and there's no room for blame.
Regardless even if they do blame, because they gonna blame us, but
Yeah.
we're supposed to be unblameable.
Right, just like we brought out with Yahushua. He was blameless. You know what I'm
God.
saying? They had false witnesses, just like they're going to do today.
God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, God.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Go.
You guys on? That was it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. With that, we give all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders who were well. Peace and salutations to all the Sinciaki and enduring afflictions, making them calling election sure. Shalom.
Shalom.
DTA.
Wow.